If you're somebody who needs help romanticizing winter, there's so many different like storylines, you know, you can only follow so many. Hammer out some of these details because I don't want to get stuck. I want to keep the flow going. Good morning, friends. Welcome to what I hope will be a very cozy reading vlog. It is a super icy, snowy, wintry day outside. I wanted to do a little, did I say reading vlog? I will be doing some reading, but I also want to do some writing. I think it's going to be kind of a mix, to be honest. It's been a minute since I have done any good writing. I honestly couldn't tell you when the last writing vlog went up. Okay. Episode 9, learning how to monotask. Maybe it's time for an episode 10. And so that's, I guess, what this video will be about today, because even though I feel really bad for leaving my current work in progress high and dry because I haven't really written on it, I have been feeling really inspired about this other draft. One of the things that you can do if you're feeling kind of stuck is just to voice record yourself word vomiting through whatever story that you're working on. There is one, can you see that it says 48? For 48 minutes and 45 seconds, I walked around this room and I word vomited into my phone. And I actually came up with and kind of hammered out some details for a new story that honestly, it's been on my mind for years. I don't know that it's been years. It's been on my mind for a while. I finally talked to myself through some of those things, and so I have actually been writing. Last night was the first time I've ever stayed up until, not the first time ever, like in my life, but it's the first time in a long time I've stayed up late to finish writing something, and it was just notes. It wasn't even anything. It wasn't an outline. It was just like random little scenes that kept popping up in my head, little bits of dialogue that I kept kind of hearing the characters say, and I'll show you my screen. These sticky notes, the pink and purple and green. Anyway, all of that to say, I am going to start a new book for my Reading Around the World challenge. This is for Norway. This is, I don't know how to say their name. I should have looked it up. This is the Ice Palace. I have been waiting for a nice, icy, snowy day to read this because obviously it's the Ice Palace. And I will show you the synopsis so you guys can see what it's about. You can pause the screen if you're interested. She has like kaleidoscopic eyes. They're like rainbow eyes. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. I don't know if the camera will pick up the colors right, but it's just gorgeous. Anyway, so we're going to do some reading, but then we're also going to do some writing. We are also going to make some mock covers because in my like how to stay motivated when you're writing a novel video, I talked about making mock covers. I don't think I showed any, so now I think it would be fun in this video to properly show you guys like how I do it. I made one last night. That was one of the things that I was doing along with writing, was making a mock cover. It's almost like a trend now. It's probably been a trend for years, and I hope it continues to be a trend because I really love it. There's a trend in some book cover designs where the book cover designer will find an old piece of art and they'll like find a certain angle of it, like a certain area, and they'll kind of crop into that area, and then they'll put the text. They'll put the book title, the author, and give it kind of a new contemporary feel. I'll show you guys my process. It is the easiest thing ever. Like truly, it's like the easiest thing. Even if you don't have to be familiar with like software or anything to do these, and I just find them so much fun. So, okay, so first I'm gonna go to Canva. I've also used PowerPoint. Either one of them will work. Canva is just kind of my newer obsession. I'm gonna go to Pinterest to find some inspiration. As you can see, I had searched for dark academic things already, and that is why we have some snake and apple imagery happening, because the story that I'm working on is like a dark academic kind of story. So old Renaissance paintings, and I will kind of show you how to do what I was kind of saying earlier. So many good ones. Wow. Wow. Girl with the pearl earring. I have the Navajo girl with the turquoise earring on my wall back there. Sappho. Gotta love Sappho. I love this image. I did like a whole presentation on her in college. She's like basically the first female poet. That would make a really cool. Actually, you know what? Should we use her? Maybe let's use her. So all you do, download your image, then we're gonna upload it. Downloads. Okay, so when it uploads, we're going to see if we maybe want to crop like a certain area, like we can kind of make it fill the page. And then maybe we crop, do we crop out her face? Then it looks like I'm focused on her boobs. That's not really what I'm trying to do. Maybe we crop out more of the feet. I want her lyre. That's what she's playing right there at the bottom. That's what her instrument is. So I kind of want to keep the lyre in, but now what you would do is you would go to text, and they have options, little font combinations. If you want to scroll through, again, if it has the little crown, that means it's pro, which means unless you're going to pay for it, you can't really access that one. But I will go through and find, you can do it this way, like a preset one, or honestly, you can just add a text box, and then we can kind of do it from scratch. And so you would say book title, and then we can start going through all of our fonts, and we can kind of get the vibe. Like this one kind of looks interesting, kind of like witchy, and I don't know, kind of cool. So we'll make that kind of big. I'm going to speed up this part and we'll see what we come up with in the end. Just have fun and play around, and then print it out and put it somewhere. Put it on a vision board, put it, I don't know, put it somewhere where you will see it, and it kind of helps you, keeps you motivated, and kind of keeps you, I don't know, I feel like it kind of helps you manifest what you've got going. So anyway, that's just a random example. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little, I had fun. I thought that was really fun. Now let's, maybe should we read or should we write? I kind of want to crack this book, to be completely honest. I mean, I hope I like it. One, sis. A young white forehead boring through darkness. An 11-year-old girl. Sis. time for a little reading update. I am only, how many pages? I'm on part 2. I'm only 46 pages in, and I'm highly recommending this already. If you're somebody who needs help romanticizing winter, and that is me, this is an excellent way for you to romanticize winter. The way that the author talks about the snow and the ice is so incredibly beautiful. Like his prose is like, you know when sunlight like twinkles on a frozen lake or like an icicle or something, or like you're admiring the complexity of a snowflake, like that is what his writing is. It's really exquisite. But there's also something really kind of creepy and ominous about it as well. So I might take a little break. Honestly, I kind of want to continue reading. I think I might try to get through it all today. I'm roughly halfway through, maybe not quite. I would like to finish it today for sure, but I also kind of have my story on the back of my mind, so I think I might switch to writing for a little bit and try to get a very rough outline. Like not even like a chapter by chapter outline, but some sort of just very rough overall start to finish, 1 to 2 single-spaced page type of outline. I'm kind of eager to get into that, and it's been so long since I felt eager to start writing. I feel like I need to take advantage of that feeling. So I'm going to try to organize the notes that I made last night, the ones I said I kind of stayed up late writing. I'm going to try to organize those in some way that makes some sort of sense, because it was very much just me. Like I said, it was just me kind of word vomiting. So let's do that. Can we just appreciate this for a minute? What? So I guess this artist uses AI to generate their art. And then I don't know what they do after to make it their own. But this is possibly going to, I don't know, this is kind of the vibe, like, because the story has to do with like souls and souls being exchanged between different bodies, kind of like a Freaky Friday sort of situation. And so for whatever reason, these images really, they make me feel some kind of way. So I'm glad I found that. I was just on Pinterest, as always, finding inspiration, and I'm disturbed. Like, I'm disturbed, but they're so beautiful at the same time. So I think this is kind of the feeling, I don't know. It's like an image that describes a feeling that I have that I can't explain, which I feel like is art in a nutshell. So anyway, I have not even started writing yet because I went down the Pinterest rabbit hole. And that's my own fault because I know what Pinterest does to me. But I was starting this board on Pinterest, which is a secret board. I'm going to keep it secret, even though I'm sharing a lot in this video. I'm going to go ahead and keep it secret for now, but I do have quite a few images that I've had saved for literally years and kind of like didn't know why, and now things are kind of starting to make sense. I'm going to close out of Pinterest and try to actually get some writing done, because it's to the point now where I feel like I'm procrastinating a little bit. It's almost 3 p.m. I pulled out my notebook. This has some old notes in it that I need to go back in and see if they are still relevant. This says 2020. Whoa. Oh, lordy, lordy. Okay, so I've had this story on my mind for the past 3 years. Almost 4 years now, I guess, apparently. That says October 2020. Goodness. Okay, it's been a long time coming, apparently, on this story. It was about 1,200 words that I wrote last night when I stayed up. So I have a good start, but I need to keep going. So let's do that. repeating this cycle, a person will eventually cease to exist as they It is a little after 5 p.m. and I might be at an impasse. I might be at a stopping point. I have about 5 different directions I could take this story in. I've been literally just kind of sitting here brainstorming and writing down things that I know for sure that I want to write about, because I have like envisioned scenes for them already that I really want to write. But this is like a body swap, Freaky Friday type situation, I think I've realized. And there's so many different like storylines and plot lines, and you can only follow so many and keep a narrative making sense. So I think I actually have, which this is kind of a blessing, even though I'm also kind of frustrated and confused, and I thought I had more clarity than I actually do. I think it's a blessing because this could be something that I could maybe even potentially turn into a series. Yeah, I have more storyline than what I could do with one book. I'm trying to clear my brain of the million different possibilities that I have formulated and just pare it back and kind of strip things back and go back to the like 2 or 3, I think I have 3 or 4 things written down that I know I want to happen. And I'm going to try to string together a rough storyline, because I got about 400 or 500 words written. So now I'm at about 1700, something like that, added on to the 1200 that I wrote last night. I just realized I was kind of sitting there not typing. Yes, I can't really finish my outline like I wanted to until I hammer down exactly the type of magic that we're dealing with. I think I know my protagonist. I know my antagonist. I have a couple of love interests in mind. I need to hammer those details out before I can go any further. Otherwise, things aren't going to make sense, and I'm just going to write myself a whole bunch of plot holes. And that's kind of, I think, what I've run into with my 3rd manuscript, my work in progress that I've kind of stalled out on, is because I've kind of written myself back into a corner. And I know there's so many plot holes, and I've been struggling to write myself out of it for months. So anyway, I got halfway through, roughly halfway through. I'm on part 2, and there's 3 parts. So I might hop on the treadmill, put up the incline. I just walk slow, but on an incline while I read. That way I don't fall. An hour and a half before boyfriend gets home, or before he gets off work. And then I'm going to make like a soup or something because it's so cold outside. If you're in that mode where you're getting really frustrated, sometimes you just need to step away. Do something more physical and not so mentally stimulating. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dive back into the Ice Palace. It'll be a 5-star read. It is very beautiful so far. And very like the metaphor too. I think the Ice Palace is itself a metaphor, I think. I don't know yet. Good morning, friends. It is the next day. It's the afternoon now. I have run a few errands in the cold. I finally finished this little gallery wall moment on the front, living room wall. I'm hoping to put together a, living room makeover type video at some point. I would have liked to finish it all in one sitting, but even though it's super thin, I ended up writing for the other half of the day yesterday, which I was very thankful for. I think I posted it even on my stories, the muse has my ear again. It feels really nice. It's rare, I find, that things really flow with my writing anymore. I feel like work and life is very stressful, and then it's very difficult to be creative. I feel like I could make a whole video about this topic. I know a lot of people experience this where you feel like your creative well is empty. So I did end up writing quite a bit yesterday, which was nice. And what are you doing? He seems fine now, but he was mad at me earlier because I took him outside on his leash, and he does not like to be harnessed in this thing. And anyway, he was kind of growling at me a little bit. You wanted to be let off, didn't you? You wanted to be let off the leash, but mommy doesn't really trust you, to be honest. Kind of like to have a repeat of yesterday, basically. Write again for a little bit after, because I have a few more ideas. I'm trying to hammer out some of these details because I don't want to get stuck. I want to keep the flow going. It feels really nice. But at the same time, I just have to sit down and work out what I'm going to do, at least for the first draft. Maybe it doesn't stay that way. Of course, always things change from first draft, second draft, third draft. But I need to just pick something. I need to pick a direction to go in, because otherwise I'm going to stagnate and I'm not going to get any writing done, because when you end up being indecisive about it. So let's get this book finished and then we'll get to writing.
$dollars and champagne for the trouble. It's a t-shirt in the backseat of your car. Head down just like your father taught you. Stick around when the walls start to fall. Good God, has anybody noticed you sat at the table and you listened to her scream? I know we've had a few too many. I'm not sure what to believe. Beauty queens and rock and rollers, crystal glasses, Coca-Cola. Nice to meet ya, nice to know ya. Better have listened to all that.
Okay, it is hours later and I'm back on the grind. I did finish my book. I don't think I ever checked in with you guys. It was lovely, and I will be reviewing it in my January wrap-up. Not sure. This video will probably be out much later than that one. I really liked it. That was for Norway for my Reading Around the World challenge. When I say back on the grind, I mean I'm looking at a Google Doc of some notes that I had made the other day that I'm transferring into my journal. And then once I have this filled with basically a rough outline of the entire, roughly, maybe, sort of the entire storyline, beginning to end, I will transfer it into a new doc. I have some old notes that I'm looking at that I ripped out October 16th, 2020. I had either the original idea or just the first time that I ever wrote it down. So it's kind of funny to see how different my ideas have changed about the story in the last 3 years. So 3+ years. So I'm going to get back into this. I'm probably not even halfway through. I feel like I haven't gotten very far into the story, even though I feel like I've written quite a few full pages worth of notes. So anyway, let's get back to it. Probably going to be the final day of this vlog. I'm just kind of getting my brain wrapped around this outline. I already have a dark academic playlist up on the TV, and right now what I'm gonna go do is separate my outline from the actual like scenes and dialogue that I've been writing, because the outline doesn't need all of that. So I need to take my Word document, which is now about 3,400 words, because I ended up staying up until about 12:30 in the morning last night and wrote some more. I need to separate this document into two so that I can get focused back on the actual outlining part again. But there's still a lot that needs to be written. So I'm going to separate these into two docs, and then I'll check in with you after I do that. What are you doing? You having breakfast?